So you just lay in bed all day, consume content, and meditate, and there is no really a desire that you have after your spiritual awakening to actually interact with this world in any way or to do anything in this world. Well, this is a space that I have been in. And if you're right there, I totally understand you. And I want you to know that you are not alone. However, in this video, I want to simply share with you some of the things that actually really helped me to get out of this place. The first thing is that you might think that if it's because you're not being disciplined. And if you're being hard on yourself as someone who used to be very disciplined, maybe in their work life, taking action and being on the go, 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 and you're someone who is also very self-aware, you might start looking for the problem like, okay, what is the problem? What is the problem? Maybe it's because I'm not this. And you watch motivation video, you're not still motivated because it's no longer landing. Those those I think those the vibe and the energy of that no longer resonate with you. It feels like you've outgrown it. And you hear people telling you how to get motivated, how to take action, how to get energy. But you feel like that is not it. It's not resonating because you feel like, nah, this is not it. Well, it's actually because that is not it. You see, the reason why you are not feeling like detached and not motivated to take action and unable to consistently do the things that you used to do has nothing to do with being lazy or not being disciplined. In fact, if you look back before your spiritual awakening, you were very disciplined and you achieved some great things and you did some great things. The thing is that right now, the motivation is actually because the thing that used to motivate you is no longer there. And the lack, the consuming and just scrolling and taking things in is literally like a coping mechanism to actually prevent yourself from sitting with that void and with that emptiness to look within to actually see what is going on. So if in this phase where you feel unmotivated, you are not doing anything and all you do is you want to scroll on social media, you want to take your phone and see what's going on TikTok, you want to learn about spiritual awakening and understand what is happening with you. And you're in this seeking phase where you're learning exoteric teachings and you're studying and consuming everything that you can lay your hands on. The thing is, this is good, but it can also be the ego disguising itself from actually because it no longer has motivation and it's looking for where else it's going to get its motivation from. So the reason why you're not being motivated is not because you lack discipline. It is because there is an identity who you thought you were and how that identity used to take action and derive motivation that no longer exists or that is actually dissolving. And this identity is the sense of self that you felt that you were separate, that you felt like I am a separate individual from everyone else and I'm just me. And 2 days after spiritual awakening, the ego, which is that self, start getting dissolved and it start getting cracked and broken and it's no longer leading. But innately, how that thing, that part of self used to take action is still engraved in our psyche. So it's like what you used to, who you thought you were, and how that who you used to do things is still in you, even though who you know you are is no longer there. It's no longer that person. So there's a disconnect between the way you used to take action as that identity and the way you are now being called to take action. For those of you in business like me who have been successful in business or successful in careers in life or in other achievements before your spiritual awakening, you will realize that the identity that build that success, that build that fame or that whatever it was, is different. It is different from who you are now after spiritual awakening. You no longer see yourself as that. And because it's different, you have not changed how you used to, that person used to do things. Now you think that you can come in with this new identity that you have, which is the real you, which is spirit, as soul, and you take action the way ego used to take action. And when you try this, there's a conflict that happens within. And because this conflict happened, your soul might want it, but your ego is feeling the resistance to actually do it because it's not longer I that is doing it. And because the ego used to always do something for its own sake and to gratify itself or for service to self, for its own fame, love, to gain validation, anything, gain power, gain belonging, gain safety. That's why the ego will do something. But so the way soul does things is different. The real you is different. You do things from the heart, and you don't do things in the predictable way that the ego used to do things. And because there's a shift in that identity, and probably you have not fully incarnated or embodied your higher self or who you are as a spirit being, which is a journey that we all are on. And also because probably you don't have evidence in your psyche, in your brain, and in your mind how this you, the real you, actually take action, because you've never lived as on be her until your awakening. Like, I don't mean like you've never been her, but it's like you've never moved and walked through this life as the true you. There will be a time of catching up between when you are this old self taking action as the ego, and now learning how to take action from the soul. And this in between is where we lose motivation, or we actually get into like a freeze mode. A freeze mode where we're always tired, even you don't take action. You prefer to sit and just consume things and just take in to actually buffer, not actually looking within, which doesn't help. And you actually are more distant from the real you and from soul. So what is happening is that you need to understand that within this space where you've now awoken to who you really are. And the truth is, you are the divine, you are source, you are God Himself, you are everything. God is, you are everything that God is, right? And because you are that, the way that this you as soul does things is not going to be the same as you who thought that I am Sunita. I went to this school. My name is this. I am a business coach. I have done this. I've done this, I have this degree. I have this certificate. I have this experience. Those things. It doesn't work because the way you as spirit work is completely different. And there is going to be a time in which you're going to learn how to go from taking action from the ego, right? And taking action from the soul, even if you have shifted the identities. So changing the identity and awakening to your true self, who you really are, require a time for you to actually catch up and learn a new way of functioning as a spiritual being. And the way of functioning as a spirit, again, it's going to require you trusting in spirit and not having the plan as the ego always. But one strategy, one thing that you can do to actually really help you to collapse this time is to every day remember that the way I used to do things is not the way I'm being called to do things anymore. And if you still see yourself falling back into the way you used to do things, just leave it. Just do things that way. But the truth is, it's not going to work. Because for me, for example, after my first wave of spiritual awakening, I kept trying to want to do things the way that I used to do it as a successful business coach, as a strategist, and being so logical. And the truth is, I did those same things, but they wouldn't work. What used to give me the result will not work anymore. And it's not because the strategy in itself wasn't okay, but it's that I had outgrown that, not only outgrown it, that is not how my soul or me as spirit, me as God, me as a divine operates. That is the way my ego operates based on what it was taught. So for a long time, I struggle with taking action because I will feel the desire to take action, but I will not know how to do it because the how is still attached to the how that I know is how the ego does it. So until one day, I got the intuitive leading to be like, just focus on, instead of thinking, okay, what is the plan for the future? These are the things you need to do. One day, just take action based on what you are led to do in the moment. In the moment, every day, if you feel led to do one thing, just single thing about your business, you can do that. And you do this with no attachment. You do this from a place of the heart. And it's what I call the 1% action rule. So the 1% action is about taking one action, not one specific action, but taking one action towards something consistently without having the full picture, without knowing the future, because this is what the ego loves, predictability. But soul doesn't work like that. It works on trust, surrender, just taking action based on what you are led to do now, today, but committing that I'm going to take, let's say every day, spirit, I am committing that I'll take one action every day in alignment to my health. And this action is not a specific action. I haven't said, spirit, every day I'm going to run. No, I'm simply saying I'm going to do one thing in alignment to my health. And what is going to happen is that because you have this intention or whatever it is, you're going to realize that every day spirit is going to guide you to take one action in towards that goal. And today it might tell you, hey, go walk bare feet outside. Today it might tell you do Pilates stretches or yoga. Today spirit might tell you, okay, go run. And tomorrow it might tell you lift some dumbbells. So it's no longer the way that the ego does things, right? Which is, oh, let's have it all planned out. Let me know everything. And there's going to be a shift in going from doing things this way to this way. And this is where I want you to give yourself grace and to give yourself patience and give yourself love, because it's not a one night thing or a one day thing. It's something that you're going to evolve through. And as you evolve through this thing, you are actually going to require to have your nervous system regulated enough and be present with your body and present with yourself to navigate this. So if you've been feeling like, I can't take action, how do I start taking action after spiritual awakening? This is how you do it. Start doing the one thing every day. And this is not one specific thing. It's just doing the thing for the sake of doing the thing. And that's how you get the result. Sending you so much love. Now, if this resonate, you can let me know in the chat. I always love reading your comments. They are the reasons why I keep doing these videos and why I love showing up here to share. Let me know in the chat what your thoughts are and look forward to seeing you in the next one. And don't forget to subscribe.